9-inch hole
Come
all the way
on,
down
how
the
do you
side of the
do
trailer.
that? Like,
They're
I
they're
don't get it.
morons. That's how they do it. They hire anybody.
I could work for that company,
Um,
and I'm a
but
moron. I suck
but
at healing.
on the on the note of the manual thing that I was gonna say earlier too. With this truck, it's a little 6-speed automatic, and a lot of times right now though we get a couple rentals around. I can't stand the rentals, but you know it is what it is. We get guys that are at the bottom of the list that can't drive fucking manuals. They kick me out of my
That's so
they
crazy.
they kick me out of my truck, make me take the shitbox fucking rental with the 10 speed in it. And but I mean I love driving the 10 speed, but I don't want to drive these manuals because nobody makes sure all the paperwork is in them. So every time I get one of these rentals, I gotta go get my fucking hazmat paperwork and the insurance and the fucking registration. It's like nobody does their fucking inspections, and I get in these trucks and like everything is wrong with them, and it drives me crazy.
That sounds actually really crazy.
I did drive a 10-speed Mac for the first time the other day though, and that was my first time driving a Mac. Bro, that thing had some power compared to our little fucking fleet
Only the
fleet grade
finest goods.
units. That thing was pulling 40,000 pounds like it was fucking nothing. I think it was just a lot of it's how they're tuned, but like they that it's got the same engine in it as my little fucking city unit does though.
Sorry, I was listening, but I was peeing, so I had you on mute, so you didn't have to go through that.
You're good.
No, my pain is just oh, I have to drive to my boyfriend's parents' house in Brooklyn, especially on holidays. Oh my God, it's just traffic jam on BQE. And I hate riding first gear because I know you can burn it out pretty quickly. So he's like, "Why are you always shifting gears?" Like, my boyfriend doesn't actually know how to drive. Like, I had him get his permit, um, but he says he needs driving courses to be able
Oh,
to get his license. I'm like,
he,
well, that ain't me.
he's a city
So,
boy, huh?
yes, he at least knows how to swim. So there's that. My last boyfriend didn't know how to drive or swim. A native New Yorker.
We down here in Florida, you know, I've been here. I'm from Massachusetts originally, but I've been in Florida for like 20 years now. And you know, you kind of grow
Champion,
up on
may
the
I help
water
you
down
Right.
here,
with you?
right? Like we've been taking fucking boats out in the ocean since we were 15. Like it's just what you do.
Right. Well, because when you moved there back then, there was no boating rules. They
No,
implemented them since then. But
oh, still you can do it at 16 now.
actually,
But
my boyfriend is he's a first mate on a ship here. He's actually going for his captain's license
nice.
in
Wait, where are
February
you?
in Miami, New York City.
Okay.
So like you have a lot of the people, like if you were gonna visit New York City, right, you probably want to go on a boat at some point. And so it just kind of goes into the Hudson. Um, and you get to see all the cities up and down there. Some ships go a bit more north. Then there's some that go into the East River as well if you want the whole city tour, yada yada. But he's finally getting a captain's license. So I'm very proud of him
But
because
we
prior to that he was working for Marriott just like serving people. I'm like, fucking stop just serving rich people. Like that's crazy.
well
Stop.
when back in Buck in Boston, I don't know if you have them in New York, but we get these things called duck boats. It's basically just a
Yeah.
fucking yeah. I don't
Yep.
know if you do have them there.
Yes.
Yeah, as a kid, I loved them. I was gonna take my kid. I was gonna take my kid on one the last time we went up there to visit my family.
Miami has those
Um,
quite a bit, actually.
I mean, I've only been to Miami like twice. I don't ever remember seeing them there. But um, yeah, I was gonna take my kid on one of them, but I was looking at they were like $120 a ticket nowadays. I'm like, I'm not take. Sorry, we're not doing that.
Yeah, even for my boyfriend's boat, it's called the Manhattan. It was built in like the 20s, but it's still like super nice. It has tables inside and all this other shit. and they kind of go through the same thing. They charge like it's Coco and Carol's right now, so they're getting the tourist buff, and they're charging stupid money to
Like we
just
just
give these people like Coco and an experience. But my boyfriend's such like he always wanted to like open his own tourist thing in New York City, so he says he hates it, but I don't believe him. You know,
we
like you love showing people this city.
it's so I know it's a tourist trap kind of deal, right? But like,
Hmm.
we go offshore shark fishing down here for like 35 bucks a head. Like I just
Oh
don't
yeah, they
understand.
don't do that here. No, they don't go fishing. When I went to Florida, I dragged the boyfriend on a dolphin viewing boat, and he's like, "Don't talk to the people on the boat, and don't tell them that I work in boating, because he knows when I have a couple drinks, I get loose." And I'm like, "Fine, I won't." And then this lady's walking around asking like all these questions to people, and he's like, "Actually, I work on a boat in New York City." I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck?" And turns out she's a captain in Boston, and they knew each other's lines, and they were like getting into business shit, and it was hilarious to me.
Where is my nicotine?
One thing
There.
I thought that was interesting, I grew up, so I'm a New Yorker, 100%. I lived in New York until I was 8, and then
Oh,
I was I was I was brought to Florida when I was 8, and then I moved back as soon as I possibly could as an adult. Like I'm just a northeastern person.
I could hear your
So
Bronx accent. Jesus
it's
Christ.
not Bronx. Like it's a weird thing. It's between Brooklyn and Queens. My last
Oh,
boyfriend had a really thick Brooklyn accent, so I got a lot of it from him. My current boyfriend, he doesn't have much of an accent because he says he doesn't want to sound ignorant, which is fair enough.
I I
But
used to
certain words, he definitely is a New Yorker.
I used to say
see,
that
I
same
was.
thing, and when I was talking to my cousin not that long ago, I was having that conversation. And but the southern, like the when I drink, the northern comes back out. The Massachusetts
Thank you.
Boston
When I
accent comes
drink,
back out.
yes, I've had drinks, so
And
excuse me.
but when I'm like, especially when I'm like getting tired and sitting here, you'd think I
Yes.
grew up in the fucking
You
South.
can't fight it anymore. Like it just sucks. And even growing up in Cape Coral, Florida, on the West Coast, which fucking sucks. All my friends would call me Guinea, which is like a derogatory
I know what guinea
term
means.
for Italians.
I'm Italian. I know what guinea means.
So I'm just like, okay, fuck you, whatever. And then I find out later on I'm 25% Italian. So there's that. But I've always had this accent, even when I first moved to Florida. It just never went away, and it just got worse once I moved back. My sister, she's no longer with us. She never had an
Oh,
accent. She lived in New York till about, I want to say 4, and then the rest of her life in Florida, and she became a little bit of a Florida man, and that's where we ended up with her. So. Didn't mean to drag anything down. I'm just like, I guess, super
no,
No,
comfortable
all,
with
you're
that.
fine.
all good. Sorry to hear that. You know, that sucks.
Yeah, heroin sucks. It sucks that you can't do drugs the same way you used to be able to in the 90s, like going to mad raves. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take this ecstasy. This sounds great. Like,
Everything's laced with fentanyl and stuff these days.
This is the
I
yes,
had
second
to
and
time I've
that's
had
stop
this
smoking
exactly what
conversation
pot.
today.
happened. hmm
That
And
stuff
I'm still
scares
like
me now.
into electronic music and very much that, and I hate to see like fellow ravers get sucked into doing the drugs like that. And it sucks to see at this age, like other people I used to DJ with, like they're dying now because they never stopped doing the crazy drugs. Like, I just drink and smoke pot. That's all I do now. I'm pretty boring. I'm old now. So that's all I want to do.
Hey, I get it.
I don't even really drink any. Oh, I can't
And
smoke. I
be
can't do any drugs.
mediocre at WoW. I'm super mediocre. I'm so like fortunate to play with the guys like yous because like I haven't played at a serious level in years, and I let Johnny, aka Alex, right?
That's
That's his
me.
name. Yes, know that. And you still gave me an opportunity to be able to play and respect me at a high level. And I just know that I'm so far behind gear. I just can't commit to like doing Mythic Plus all week and stuff like these guys. So I'll be a good backup healer for your alt raid stuff for now. At least for the next month or two until I get my shit together. But I mean, hey, like any week you told me what I was doing and fucking up, like I fixed.
Yeah,
And I got better every week. So at
absolutely.
least you know I'm not a schlep.
Well,
And thanks for streaming last night. That was actually like I was laying in bed. I got that Rog Ally,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was just fun watching these guys play. And I'm like, wow, this is what it looks like when we're not with our normal group, because we just plow through heroic and normal pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
There was like some pain points there. I'm like,
Tonight,
it's not me standing in shit for once.
tonight,
Hooray.
tonight didn't go any better. Sad to say.
Oh,
well, I can tell you this. At the end of the day, it's just playing the fucking game. Like, the more you play, the more you're gonna figure shit out. Like, the
Mhm.
more you ask questions, the more you deep dive into your logs. Once you start being able to compare your logs to what all the other players are doing, like, don't even never look at like, if you're log reviewing, like, don't look at fucking like the 1%. Look at, the 100th percentile. Look at like 75th percentile. See what they're doing. Check
oh,
out.
that's what I definitely do. But I
Yeah.
know for me right now, I am literally 464. I don't run Mythic Pluses. I don't do anything else to go out of the way. I'm pretty useless when it comes to certain
It's
things right now. I've had
it's just
no
practice.
fucking luck with any kind of gear, that's
Have you
quote
raided all
unquote
the
better
cities?
for me. I did some of the normal. I didn't do all of it this week. I think we skipped quite a bit of it on Tuesday. And
Well,
I
shit,
did
if you got
heroic up
time,
to
let's go raid
Volcross.
all right now.
I mean, I have
Hey,
time.
buddy.
I'm a little tipsy. I don't know how well I'll probably die.
It's normal.
It's normal. That's what I was gonna say. It's normal. Let's just go. Like, I ain't got anything better to do. I'm just literally just getting all my stuff for my jewel crafting. That's all I'm doing.
Wow, your name is huge. Who are you? I don't remember seeing your name unless
He's
you
new.
were a different name before. Oh,
He's new here.
I'm a po' boy.
oh, hello. My name is Danielle. My government name.
My government name.
I'm kind of in between your guild and my guild, so your guys' guild just didn't match up with my raiding hours. So I jumped into another guild, but then I asked your guild leader if I could stay here if you guys needed somebody to fill in and stuff like that.
Well, aren't
It
you
was just
sweet?
hard. It was just hard because my last guild, I could.
You know what it
never,
is?
ever
We're
match
cool
the time.
people. We're cool people, and it's hard to leave us. So-
Except that ruin guy. Fuck him.
True. He's referring to
Ruin.
himself.
Who kept talking last night? Was it Rainbow? Just kept yada 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 yada. This is blah 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 yada yada. I'm like, bro, who is that?
I don't
And
remember.
I couldn't see in Discord.
I'm not sure.
There's
I
a
know
couple.
Rain talks a lot more than I do. But he's a
There's-
good healer. He's a very good shaman healer, and I know you guys wanted him to go on holy or a priest of some sort.
Oh yeah, he's not even staying with the raid anymore.
Really?
Yep, his girlfriend
Yeah.
gave him the shutdown.
Oh. Well, see, my
Yeah.
boyfriend's at work right now, so, like, I'm primed to do whatever. But on Tuesdays, he gets very confused. He's like, what's going on here? I'm like, dude, I'm playing World of Warcraft from this time to this time. But you're not going to talk to me? I'm like, no.
Well, you know what's funny is it is.
And
that
then
you
he
say that.
starts
My
doing,
last
like,
guild-
weird boy things, like, give me attention. And I get it. Like, some people need attention, but, like, this is, like, what I enjoy doing.
Just say that. Just say I'm one of the boys.
Right, so my name is D's Nuts because in Cataclysm I had a girly name and nobody would let me play PvP or PvE or none of that shit. And then I'm like, you know what, fuck this. Like my government name's Danielle, I'm gonna use that and D's Nuts because I'm kind of an asshole. So
I just
I'm just gonna put the two together.
I just randomize all my names, so
That's awesome.
Oh, I have quite a few like questionable names. I did have therapist once for a rogue, but it quickly got banned because they looked at it as the rapist. I'm like, but what if I
Oh
was the actual
God.
therapist? Yeah. I have Ben Nova for my mage, which is a huge missed opportunity because I suck at mage. Like that's the one class that does not compute. And then I have Bop Tart for a paladin, but I suck at paladin healing, so that's probably not great. And then
You know,
my original name, DJ Electra, which is my DJ name, I've passed this around for a few tunes now
Bro,
throughout the past 10 years.
I've
And
been
my hunter's name is Florida Man.
I've been trying to get my last point in enchanting, all expansion, and I finally fucking hit it.
nice.
Oh my
Congratulations.
god, I'm so relieved. I'm just sitting here doing my public crafting orders for the day.
I remember when I cared about all that shit. I used to be, especially during WOD, you could find me at the auction house. If I wasn't raiding, I was at the auction house. That's where I bought my magic rooster and was it the blazing hippogriff, the flaming or the blazing, one of them. um I remember hustling so much money just to get those two mounts, and
I
I was
love.
so
Sorry.
I was so conflicted between the blazing and the corrupted. I'm like, ah, I should buy both, I don't know. And then I didn't buy the corrupted and I got all fucked up.
I love
I
that
didn't
this.
get it.
I love that this enchanted aspects crest is fucking. It's like 5,000 golden materials, and this guy's offering a $500 tip. My mats.
No.
I have much to offer.
I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna go to Stormy for all my anything needs. And if I offer her money, she don't want to take it. But I think she's got gold cap, so she won't take any money from me.
I'm getting pretty close.
Since they changed the crafting shit to similar to like Final Fantasy, I'm like, I'm not into this. I can't. I don't want to do this.
Have you? Do you play? Have you played Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I used to. That
Yeah, it's-
right after WOD, like after the first raid of WOD is when I really started playing Final Fantasy a bit. That's why I say the crafting system is like very similar in a lot of ways.
It's similar. Definitely took inspiration right from this and New World's crafting system, but I still like Final Fantasy's better. I like that you can like level them all up at once. You know, you make these materials with this profession, and then you use those materials that you made with that profession to put them into another profession to work on that profession. I love it. It's so
What did you
well
play
thought.
in Final Fantasy?
Most of my time I main paladin, but I've lately Black
How
Mage.
cool was it that you could have one tune for all these jobs? And I'm just like, this is what WoW is missing.
I don't think it's what WoW is missing. I think WoW has its own identity.
It has its own thing, right?
Yeah, it's got its own thing.
I really like the fact that I could switch from like an Astro to a White Mage. You know? Like having those options depending on the raid it was.
You can also be super baited by that too, right? So like, you know, if you're playing an Astro and you're like, okay, well I got my fucking raid gear for the week.
My set. Yeah.
Yeah, I got my 4 raid pieces for the week, right? Now all of a sudden you can't get more raid pieces to gear up your black or that's the bad example because it's the same fucking armor type. But like, you now all of a sudden you can't get your fucking paladin gear, like your paladin job gear from the raid, right? Like,
I don't think like a lot of people played like melee class to caster cast like that. You know, I think like casters just played casters.
a lot of people did though,
Right.
and I'm not saying like they do whatever they want, right? But like, I just, for me, I don't. I like the gearing system in some ways, but if you're a multi-job player, then like it's not very good. WoW does it
I
better in
guess for
my eyes. At,
healing,
like,
it wasn't like that bad. I
no,
guess you could say for healing.
yeah, that's what I'm
'Cause-
saying. Is like if you heal, if you play
oh,
White
gotcha.
Mage, White Mage, Astro, whatever, like it's better because that gear is sort of similar, right?
Right.
So, but like when it comes to like if you've oh, I want to tank this week. Well, all of a sudden you're behind on your gear. You know, you
But
can't go.
however, the thing for that sucks for WoW is like the way that I'm spec now is holy. I can't just go back into disco. Like, there's no way. My haste doesn't exist. And that's a huge component for disco, and I'd love to go back to disco at some point, just like working with the spec a bit more. But yeah, I feel like here it's a bit different when it comes to the healing stuff. There it's like, oh, you gotta set your good, know your spells.
So, I also play disc, and here's what I will say about that. Like, what's your haste rating at right now?
I mean, I'm holy, and I took the advice of Stormy, so I'm at 7.8%.
Okay, so that is definitely very fucking low. But
Right, like I have
Um,
no room to even be mid and try
you
to
take
do anything meaningful.
you take one good ring, and all of a sudden you're at 12% haste. And yes, is it tougher to do the ramps and all that kind of stuff? With,
Of course it
you know,
is.
of course it is. But when you have low haste like that, yes, of course it is. But at the end of the day, if you still play around the fact that you don't have that haste rating, you'll still be fine. Like
I
those,
realize I play disc a lot better in PvP than I do PvE at this point. Because when I started raiding with the group, my disc was not great. Like I didn't know how to ramp right. I
it
didn't know how
plays
to do
very
this, that, and
different.
the other.
It
Where
plays
he
very
like holy is more kind of auto. You got X, Y, and Z that you got
Well,
to do.
two
Pump it
different
out all
jobs,
the time.
right? Two different
Yeah,
jobs for healing the raid, right? One's a spot healer and one's a fucking burst damage healer. Like
but just now I'm getting to the point when we do our normal and heroics where I'm throwing in damage, where I wasn't doing that before. But yeah, my gear score is just doo doo.
well, I know that she's a very good multi healer class player, so I'm sure she knows this.
Absolutely.
I'm sure she knows disc as well. But if you
Well,
ever
no, she absolutely fucking loathes disc. Like, you don't
oh does
even bring up disc with her. Like,
well
no,
if
disc
you
is
know
no.
if you ever have any, I know that you're playing holy right now, but if you do ever have any disc questions, I'd be more than happy to help.
Yeah, I'd like to get back into it again. I like contributing damage. I guess, like, especially after the changes, and then I just got back into WoW previously into that. Like, I just wasn't understanding the ramping. Um, Especially now that I've had so much time with the raids. I feel
Right.
like I know where those damage spots are and where I could do better there. Holy is just like it just feels kind of boring to me.
It's an entry, it's white mage, right? Like it's your entry
Right.
level, it's your entry level like
Astro is totally disco.
yeah, no, exactly. They're absolutely it is. And it's just watching your fight timers and watching your boss timers, knowing what mechanics that are going to come out so that like so for example, right, the other day when Tazbek was playing as Disc Priest, I literally was just watching him stream, watching his boss timers for him, and said, okay, start ramping now. Start, pop your rapture, start putting out your shields, so that
Yeah, your radiance and
for
then
example,
start
on
atonement.
Volcaros, on Volc, and this was just normal, but like, on Volcaros, for example, right? Once you see like 15 seconds on the once you see like 15 seconds on the fucking on the soak, pop your rapture, start putting out your thing, your atonements, with your empowered power word shield, so that the second that you land, you double radiance, evang,
I feel like that fight is so much better for disc than it is holy, because
Every
especially if
fight
I
is better.
try to use divine hymn, I'm such in a long cast, those rings are gonna come out, and then it's not gonna be a full cast. So I lose opportunity there. Where like in a ring, I could probably put out 2 radiants and then start doing damage and move in between. But
Well,
like
you,
I
for that
haven't been that crafty lately, because like I haven't wanted to play at that level until recently.
for
So
that particular fight, the only real damage that even comes out, like you would put like you could put like your barrier down for that, but what you want to
Mhm.
do is like you ramp while that soak is casting, and so
Mhm.
you get your shields out. The second that you land from after doing the soak, when it knocks you back, then you double radiance, evang, mindbender, and once you hit that mindbender, when you time it right, that's as soon as Serpent's Fury comes up, and you're blasting through the Serpent's Fury, and you're blasting fucking healing. So like it's little things like that with when it comes to raid, that like it's all about learning the boss timers. And again too, right? Like you look at the logs and you say, okay, where are these people using their cooldowns? You know, what is nice about disc right
I'm
now?
trying to just get into that mindset again of
Yeah.
like reading this shit. It's been honestly like thinking back at least 10 years where I cared to look at logs and compare and get angry about what I'm doing, compared to what's going on.
Well,
I
and
have a
what?
lot of room for improvement, especially what's that one boss with the lines? Nimue?
Nimue, yeah.
Yeah,
Very
so
fast.
I don't know what it is when that line comes in. I just don't focus properly or hear the audio where it's coming in at a right point. I think I just focus too hard on trying to heal people instead of paying attention to that. And I get shit on that by all the time, and it's so embarrassing because I know that's something that's super avoidable. But like at the same point, like that fight puts out like a good amount of damage where I'm just like, oh, heal all these people, and then I just sit there and then I have to put the guardian spirit on myself, and thankfully I could put it on myself twice
Well,
during that fight, since it's
it's
on me.
funny. It is funny too that you say that, because the highest damage spots where you're like, where the ones that I know, the one day that I whispered you and I was like, hey, you're standing on those lines, right?
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm not
yes.
trying to like call you out. I'm just trying to legitimately help. That you're right. That that especially once that those ads start getting towards the end,
I'll
the
tell
end
you
of the
what the
life
problem
there.
is. Number one, it was positioning. I was sitting way too close to melee because I was afraid that my divine star wouldn't hit as far. So I started noticing where Stormy was, and sitting a bit back there and seeing that my spells were better back there, like they were still hitting. And then but the last time we did heroic with that, I didn't get hit by anything. So I was very careful. But
It's
what
all
I
baby
realized
steps.
what happens is I keep looking just at the healing grid. I'm like, oh, you need this, that, and the other, and the sound for the lines coming in is so faint, you don't really hear it until it's right on you. And then I'm like, fuck, I stood in it again. And you've seen that I put Guardian Spirit on me more than once. You're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? But a big part of that was standing very close also,
Oh yeah.
and not paying attention to that. And I'm always in group 246, so I know my role at that point.
Part of the reason I play a ranged DPS is because it's way easier to see everything that's going on when you're standing fucking 30 yards away from everybody else.
I've had friends when I stream, usually the people that come and watch me are other DJs, so they don't quite understand what's going on. I'm just like, why is your screen so far out? Where are you? I'm like, well, I'm this person, but I'm healing everybody, so I gotta see everybody. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't have time to talk to you about this. Like, they just think I'm a crazy person.
Are they wrong?
Some of the DJs game too, but a lot of them are just like music divas that are so up their own ass with like their own kind of music they don't care.
Oh, they officially gave Tindril the business.
Oh, really?
Fire beam, number of beam spawns per pulse reduced to 6 was 8. Fiery growth duration increased to 20 seconds was 16 seconds on mythic difficulty. Lingering cinder duration reduced to 2 seconds was 3 seconds. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't know what that is. Pulsing heat damage reduced by 33%. Fiery vines health reduced by 7% on mythic difficulty. Addressed a performance issue that caused a server delay at the start of the encounter.
Is that mostly mythic, or is that all difficulties?
No, all difficult. There was only one line for mythic specifically.
Oh, interesting.
I'm surprised they didn't change. I'm surprised there's no fucking. There's no seeds change on mythic yet, though. To be honest with you, they did. They hit everything else in the fight, but they didn't hit seeds yet.
Lizard, you live in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to Cape Coral, Fort Myers. So if your truck swings about that way, because I am certainly not driving to fucking where you're at, like north of Orlando. No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah, it's about.
But if your truck swings that way,
it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't go down that way. Hey, but you know, if y'all, depending on what what y'all got going on, if it's a weekend, I don't know my kid. When are y'all coming?
I mean, I'm gonna be in Florida from the 15th to the 28th, but I'm not planning on driving to the Orlando area.
No.
Really at all.
I love driving and I love the long drive.
I do
so
too.
I
thought I was weird because I actually enjoy highway driving. My boyfriend's like, "Why do you like driving from New York to DC?" I'm like,
especially,
"It's not a bad drive until I hit Maryland, and then I start screaming."
Especially this time of year, it's real nice to just roll around with my windows down in my pickup truck and just fucking send it down the highway at fucking 90 miles an hour.
I remember when I had my full-size Bronco when I was 18, I would fucking drive that bitch to Gainesville doing like definitely pegging the 85. So I definitely was doing about 90 to 100 because back then when those trucks were produced, like the speedometer didn't go higher than 85 even though the vehicle did. What did I have? A 302? I want to say I didn't have the 351.
What truck? I'm sorry, I was like
a Bronco, an 88 Bronco.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna pretend like I remember the size of the engine in that fucking truck.
Yeah, mine was a 302, so I had the smaller engine. Then there was a 351 that didn't really provide much anything else other than torque for towing.
What do you think of the new Broncos?
I would fucking absolutely love one of those, especially one of the classic looking ones. I always wanted a classic Bronco, but how the fuck am I gonna own that around here? Like, there's one guy around here that has like a 96 Eddie Bauer. I'm like, how the fuck can you afford to drive this shit around here? Like, I don't understand.
We have I found one the other day. I don't know what must have been wrong with it, but I found one used one for like 41, and I called my dad. I was like, "You need to talk me out of this right now because
talk some sense into me."
I just paid my truck off. I don't need to be going and getting another car payment.
Oh no, the boyfriend's coming home. I'm running out of time to be comfortable. He just kind of sucks where he's just like, who you talking to? What are you doing? I'm like, oh my god, shut up. Like, you know, a fucking internet boyfriend. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I play WoW with people. Like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, I'm gonna go fuck these guys after the raid. That's what's gonna happen. You insecure imbecile. That's what I deal with here.
That's what I try to do.
No, and then he looks in my area and checks for like bags to see how much I've been drinking. And I'm just like, dude, like you're not fucking home. Shut up. I'm actually like a fucking very good girl. Like I don't do anything nefarious. I fucking work. I nap sometimes during work. Maybe that's the worst I do. But he's just like mad at me for everything that I do. And I'm like, I don't know what else to do outside of that. Like really, like one of the first times we raided on Tuesday, I told him I can't speak from this hours to this hours. Why can't you talk to me? What does that mean? Who's controlling you? I'm like, what?
How long y'all been together?
Like 6 years.
Yeah, that's wild.
So the thing is, I used to throw Overwatch parties in Manhattan. So when Overwatch was a big thing and Overwatch League was a big thing,
In general, people in 2023, like this is actually so funny because it's something I talk about on my podcast, but we've never been. I do. I stream it live. I stream it live on my same channel, like on Twitch. But if you go to like my links and stuff, like I have a YouTube. I also posted it in the thing, but all my like full episodes save on YouTube Live and have titles and stuff. So, sometimes it's debate and banter and so I actually recently uploaded this thing like a comedy bit too, but I've been making it. I think that here's an irony about like people. Everybody in 2023, if you look for relationship advice, I am that. And if you ask anybody of any age group of adulthood on the street, what are the secrets to a good relationship? Everybody thinks they know. The funny part about that is the statistics insist that no, they don't. We've never been worse at making successful long-term relationships. Like, we just don't know how to do it. We don't know how to cohabitate with each other well. Yeah. And that's true for friendships. It's true for a lot of things. So I have some pretty out there opinions about that. Oh, no. You are fine. You're better than you give yourself credit for.
like 464, and these guys were like 480 something at this point. That explains the amount of times like
Yeah.
that you guys cancel out probably a backflip.
I look in Discord all the time while I'm like playing Tango, and I'll pop in and I'll be like, what a fucking god, y'all. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing on?
I mean, after work, my first thought isn't really to go to World of Warcraft. Like, I gotta walk my dog. Yesterday already.
I don't, it's not my first thought, but I still do it. It's just a habit that I just
And you know the thing is, like, I'm a huge pussy, especially with the Mythic Plus things, and I know I gotta do them with these guys. Cause like, I just don't want anybody to die, but I realize, especially the higher seas, like, whoever's gonna die, they're gonna die a lot.
Oh,
What's
I
the
have.
contribution to that fee?
So let me tell you a little story about something that happened this week, and it's gonna include a little bit of backstory, right? I'm a multiple backs cutting edge raider. I I I've been playing this game for a long time. I've been raiding mythics since fucking Siege 1, right? I fucking this week, right? I hate mythic plus. I can't fucking stand it. I've been talking about it.
Well, I just don't want to do.
So my IO at the beginning of this week was like 2k right? So we're going to do like a 20 game, whatever the fuck it was. We get this DH that fucking pops in the goddamn group. Again, I've been playing this game for a long time. I've played it, I have been playing it for a long time. And this guy still comes in, you don't even start the queue, just you know. Comes in, looks at my IO and goes, yo, your IO sucks dick. You have fucking
Wow, what a bitch.
sleeves, right? So like, people are gonna do what they're gonna do, and like, you can't let like your opportunity to practice the areas that you might have a weakness or like
That's why I
a little
gotta
bit of
play with
nerve.
these guys, because my IO shows them like third, second.
It's the one key I dragged you into, wasn't it?
Sorry, but I think I did okay.
You did fine. We timed at 11. Like you got this.
Mythic Plus
Yeah,
is
but
one of those.
so after that, I created a Mythic Plus spec where I could actually increase the damage with my IO. And I'm like, I don't know, like, I'm such a pussy sometimes. Like, now that I'm older, I'm scared of everything, and I hate it.
Nah.
In the way that it's designed for people who it has a lot more like personal responsibility of rating things on it, right? And I totally understand the nerves when it comes to
Oh yeah.
to it, but it like just like we were talking about rating earlier, and it's just playing the game. It's just playing it until you figure it
I
out.
try to play the game, and I like the thing is with me, I take a bit longer to figure it out. Like,
It's fine.
I don't pick it up as quickly as others, and I know that.
My my point of that story to you is just like I know where I stand in this game, and I still get shit talked all the time. Like it's gonna happen to